Cool.
Great.
Is everyone kind of ready to go?
Yep.
All right. Cool. I
Dee,
think
you
we
warm
can.
up that crowd for me, okay?
All right, Tom. All good. And it's Ferrier, right? That's how I pronounce it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Cool. I think we can hit start webinar, Ali.
Okay, everyone right to go, and we'll kick off with you, Dee. When we get in there, we can probably wait a few minutes, Dee. Yeah, I'll
You just
start
let me know.
now. And then just when you're ready to start, you kick it off, Dee. All right. How are we going, team? Good. All right. Well, welcome everybody. So delighted to have you join us here today for this exciting webinar. So good afternoon, happy Monday. My name is Dee Bannatyne, or you can call me Dee. I'm the Chief Growth Officer at Tyro, and I would like to start this webinar with an acknowledgement to country. I recognise that I am hosting this webinar from the traditional lands of the Kulin Nation here in Melbourne. I also recognise the traditional owners of the countries and the lands from where you all work today and the First Nations people present in this webinar. I pay my respect to all elders, past and present, and celebrate the diversity of Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander people and their cultures and connections to the land and water. So, let's get into it. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We're very excited. And Tyro is very proud to partner with Greener to bring you this webinar. At Tyro, we are absolutely committed to managing the environmental aspects of all of our operations to help create a sustainable future for our business, our customers, and of course, the community as a whole. But we're also committed to supporting our customers to do the same. We know that our customers across Australia are always looking for ways to positively impact the environment, to be more sustainable, and of course, to save a few dollars at the same time. By providing merchants with access to the Greener platform, we hope that this will help you to manage the impact on the environment, as I said, ensure the sustainability of your business, but of course, to save money. Please don't be worried if this shift towards sustainability feels quite new to you. The team from Greener are here, absolutely here to help. And they've got some really fantastic tools for you all to simplify things. And this session is a great opportunity to hear from businesses like yours who have started on their journey. So without any further ado, I would love to introduce you to Tom Ferrier. Tom is the co-founder of Greener, who will host our webinar this afternoon. Over to you, Tom.
Hey, thanks, Dee. We are so excited to be here. And you were spot on. There no longer needs to have this feeling of overwhelm when talking about sustainability, because most people deep down feel that as soon as they hear that word. And they often think it's also going to be more expensive to get greener. But the key thing is, one thing we've worked so hard on with so many of the great people that you're about to meet is that getting greener can no longer be something that we forget about. We've made it super easy for people to take action. And what's even better is that the reality is taking steps to reduce your emissions or reduce your waste, it can actually save businesses tangible dollars and bring in more customers at the same time. So we're going to talk really practical terms here today with some of Sydney's best hospo rock stars. And we've brought these legends together to really bring a small business lens in hospitality and talk about their experience. So first up, we've got Nick from Since I Left You. He's also the president of the YCK Laneways Association. Now, Nick, you wouldn't know it by looking at him, but he's got a background in civil engineering. And he would tell you that he didn't grow up in hospo world, but actually it's something that he's really thriving in. He's got this real get it shit done attitude, and he's putting the hard yards in to make Since I Left You into one of Sydney's most loved hotspots. Nick, can I get a quick hello?
Hello, hello. Thanks for having us, Tom.
Terrific.
and yes, thanks for the very kind words there.
No problem, mate. Next up, we've got Karl. Now, Karl's the CEO of House of Pocket. He's also the president of the New South Wales Independent Bars Association and also the vice president of the YCK Laneways. Now, this is a bit of a mouthful. Karl has a background in so many different bars. It started off with his small bar, Pocket Bar, in 2009, then Stitch Bar, then Button Bar, Crooked Tailor. Look, if I didn't know any better, I would have thought that he wanted to be a tailor himself. He's also on several advisory boards for state and local government, as well as the Nighttime Industry Association. Karl, a quick shout out from you, mate.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Tom, and the kind words as well.
Too easy. Well, look, I saved the kindest for last. Julian, head chef and co-founder at Butter Surry Hills. Now, guys, they're all rock stars here, but if you want to taste some of the country's best fried chicken, you've got to go see Julian. He's been in the hospo game since he was 15 years old, and he's one of the industry's most influential operators, especially when it comes to fried chicken. The Colonel no longer exists. Look, Julian, quick hello.
How you going? Thanks for having us and the kind words again.
Too easy. Now, today's going to be a really open discussion. So everyone that's dialed in, thank you so much. Please feel free to share any questions or comments you've got in the chat, and we'll try to cover off on them as we go. So to kick things off, I'm keen to get a bit of an intro from the panel themselves. If you guys could tell us a little bit about yourself and when you started thinking about sustainability in your business. Nick, I might start with you, and if you can then hand around, that'd be great.
Sure thing. So yes, Nick, I own Since I Left You, which we've been in operation for, we just had our 13th birthday a couple of months ago. Yeah, I mean, I guess I've always been conscious of sustainability as an issue, but it's really kind of only since the pandemic, I guess, that we really started thinking about it seriously, and and looking at ways that it can actually help us improve our operation and our bottom line. Yeah, it's a kind of a something that definitely came out of YCK forming together. That's one of our main key areas of focus for our 5-year vision. So this is all very much in line with that. And more and more these days, customers are shopping with their conscience. So you've got to change with the times.
Hey, Nick, you've mentioned YCK. I mentioned it a couple of times, but I didn't go into actually explaining what it is. Do you mind just giving the audience a quick overview of the group?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely skipped over that one a bit. Yeah, so YCK Laneways, yeah, one of the few good things that came out of the pandemic. It started, I guess, end of 2020 when the CBD was a bit of a ghost town, and we needed to do something to get people back. So we went around, we galvanized. There's a real natural small bar precinct that developed in the 10 previous years in our area, but it didn't really have a name or an identity. So that was one of the main things we wanted to do, is to put a place on the map and give ourselves an identity. And then over the last few years, we've been steadily applying for grants, doing lots of cultural activations. Generally we get a grant, we'll do a major outdoor component, and then an in-venue component where we give each of our members a bit of money to put on events according to what their business does. But the golden era of COVID grants has somewhat dried up, and so we're now shifting our focus, to something a bit more long-term and sustainable, and in every sense of the word, and trying to make a bit more of a meaningful contribution to the industry.
Well, mate, that's it. And you use the word sustainable in every sense of the word. You're spot on, because you guys are doing great things for the planet. But through the whole YCK movement and all of the bars that you've had sign up in this precinct, you're really starting to drive a great buzz that'll help drive financial sustainability as well. Maybe what we'll do is just shifting over to you, Karl. If you could just give a quick overview as to yourself, your businesses, and your part in the whole sustainability piece within YCK.
Yeah, not a problem. So yeah, I'm the vice president for YCK. I work a lot with the Nick White. I've opened up, I think, over 9 bars of my own, sold a few, stuffed a few, got a few left. And for me, moving into this space, being the father of 3 children, just seeing what they're learning. And we're at the shops once, and one of my kids were like, I'm not going to buy that, Dad, because it hurts the environment. And I was like, oh, shit, you're like 9. And so then I just started to apply that to what our future customers could look like and what they're going to be attracted to in terms of what the business is doing. And we also use it as a way of our staff attraction and recruitment policies. So a lot of the questions that come up in interviews are, what are you doing to help the environment and etc. So there's some things we're implementing there. And then I was on, and through the process, just surprised how much money you can actually save by being a little bit more sustainable.
Mate, absolutely. And I can't wait to dig into that because a lot of people still believe and still feel that it costs more to be greener. Before we get to that, though, I'd just love to dig into what you just mentioned about staff. We see it most weeks. Headlines on the news is that hospitality really struggles since COVID to attract and retain staff, and it's been one of those things that lingers. Talk to us a little bit about what some of these candidates are actually asking you about and how you're trying to use, or how you are using, sustainability to differentiate.
Yeah, so it's more so we use our staff as advocates for what we're doing. So we look at the processes that we're currently using, can it be more sustainable, or what waste we're using, and then naturally, being hospitality being such a close-knit little community, they all go off and start talking about it. And I think that's how we use it. And I think there's a big sense of reward and I forget, can't find the word, but of when they go and implement and they see this the impact that's having in the business.
Yeah, fantastic. Julian, mate, tell us a bit about you. We've also spoken a lot about YCK, but you're part of the Hollywood Quarter Group, the HQ. If you could talk a little bit about that and when you guys started thinking about sustainability.
Yeah. I guess sustainability, working in some of the top restaurants in Australia and throughout the world, it's always been farm to table, what comes into the restaurant. You know, we've always been looking at and very conscious of. And I guess it was late 2018, start of 19, we saw our red and yellow bingo in one truck. And it's like, why am I paying less for a yellow? Why am I paying more for a red? Why are they going into one? And then we went out to one of the MRF centers and like the industry's garbage. It's like I actually sorted it at the stream. And as we started to go through and down some rabbit holes, the kind of thought like we're butter, we do a lot of Uber Eats, we do a lot of things. So there's no real look outside of what goes out of the venues and what goes through Uber and what goes into our bins. So we started deep diving and checking that out and really found a crazy amount of like plastics and things that can be sorted, you know, general waste, organics. You know, we started organic straight away with that and actually had like a cost saving. But you know, always thinking what was coming in, and then we started to just look at what was going out. And then, as Nick said, you know, through COVID, it was crazy the amount of packaging because you know people couldn't eat in restaurants and things like that. You know, we're trying to create a few reusable projects, things like that. And then with Hollywood Quarter, you know, Sydney's second precinct, we'll say to YCK, probably the better one. Just saying.
How much better, mate?
Oh, you know, it's got butter there, fried chicken joint. Yeah, with that, you know, we're looking and with the boys at YCK of like how collectively we can be a community and go on this sustainable journey together. You know, there's numbers in powers and there's savings in powers, and you know, things like there's 10 bin companies that come to us. How can we have one bin company, less cost, etc.? So it's always been, you know, on the back of our minds, and we're really trying to push it now because I kind of feel we can't really save the planet per se, but we can really start to control it and what we're doing and make the right decisions.
Yeah, gotcha. Mate, before we go on to back to go around the group again, I'm just keen to touch on cost savings for you. You've just touched on 10 waste companies, bringing it down to one and opportunities there. But what about other things that you've spotted or that you've implemented within your own business that you've seen a tangible saving when it comes to bottom line and planet?
Yeah. I guess with us, we do a small tight-knit menu and do work with farms. And, having larger menus is, a waste and an added cost onto there. Things like our oil, we use cooker's oil. We get a rebate on our waste oil going out. We have large 180-litre drums, so we don't have any of the 20-litre drums going into our bins, which take up space, volume. We're saving, I don't know, like $5-6 grand a year just doing that. There's other little things. We've got a biochemical, which is a microorganism that actually uses cold water instead of hot water for our floors. And this microorganism eats all the fat. So we put it on a few minutes, let it sit, strain it off, and overnight when we're not there, it eats all the fat. And honestly, it's an amazing product. And just not to have to use hot water and use a resource as much has been like a very big saving. Because we're cleaning down all the time. Other saving, like we're looking now at like large format alcohol, instead of single bottles. We do a bit of return and earn, commercial return and earn, sending stuff back.
That's cool. I love what you've done with oil. Obviously, fried chicken, you're using oil all the time. Benefits in saving on oil, reduction on issues to the planet, but then also health and safety, because a lot of that stuff isn't easy to transport around by your team. Maybe, Karl, I'd love to know from you, what are some of the simple things you guys have done to save money that are actually better for the planet?
Yeah, well, the big one for us was the return and earn. So being a cocktail bar, I think 80% of our sales is from beverage. So we go through a lot of glass and cans and etc. And when we switched over to a return and earn partner, we used to have a bottle crushing machine, which was quite large. And then you have all the little blue bins. I think we had 6 or 7 of those at Stitch and then 11 at Pocket. And we've managed to swap over to them. And we now save around $10,000 a year in waste fees for them to come and pick up those products. And we probably get around across the 2 venues, probably about $3,000 or $4,000 back in the rebates from return and earn.
Is that right?
Yeah, that was a pretty simple one. The kids weren't happy because that took away their pocket money, but
well, man, that's what I was going to ask. Just for the non-hospo people on the call, return and earn, it's really like getting cans or bottles and putting them in a bin and getting your 10 cents back. Is that
That's exactly the process. That's exactly the process.
And you guys are turning 10K over from that. Well, sorry, saving 10K in waste and 5K from the return and earn process.
Yeah, over the 2 venues. Yeah, correct.
That's huge.
And then another big one was our coasters. So we used to use the cardboard coasters, which would get about, so I've just been joined by one of my children, would spend about, sorry, the emergency, there's toast stuck in the toaster. The coasters were probably spending about $4,000 or $6,000 a year, and just churning through them was around 40,000 coasters over the 2 venues. So, and we've now moved to a bamboo coaster. So we're getting a lot longer life out. Well, they're reusable until someone steals them, but apart from that, they're pretty good.
And so how long do these bamboo coasters last, as opposed to you put one on a table, and even before some people sit down with a drink, they're a little bit festive. How long are these bamboo ones lasting?
Oh, they last, well, we haven't had one being destroyed, so they last forever, a long time. Where the cardboard one is basically single use.
Yeah, terrific. Nick, over to you, mate. What have you seen?
Yeah, similarly, like, one of the first ports of call was, our waste and what we were doing with that. We, for 10 or so years, just had co-mingled recycling that had all the rubbish, and the recycling all went into that and spent X amount for that. And then split it out. We've now got a cardboard bin. Similar to Karl, we've got a bottle and containers bin, and there's a service that come and pick that up. And then we've got, a waste bin. and that's probably at least halved our total waste bill for the year. So, that's one of those things you kick yourself. It's like, why have we not been doing this for the last 10 years? And how much good have we been saving? But
Hang on, you
yeah, I mean,
halved your waste bill because everything that I'm
yeah,
reading, landfill costs are going through the roof, waste costs through the roof, and you're managing to halve them just by implementing some simple practices.
yeah, exactly. I mean, we are fortunate that we've got plenty of space to have several types of dumpsters and stuff, and I know that that's a barrier for entry to a lot of people. But we're now looking similarly, like from the precinct perspective, how we can sort of collectivize, particularly things like green waste. A lot of venues don't produce enough to warrant having one single dumpster, so we're looking to maybe get a couple of key, like a communal dumpster in a couple of key spots around the precinct that several venues can feed into, and then we can manage the service from there. So,
Sorry, what's
yeah, we're
green
looking.
waste? Just for the audience.
So anything that was once alive, basically. Yeah, for bars, there's lots of things like lime husks after they've juiced limes. Leftovers from people's food. We obviously try and keep down to a minimum, but yeah, our worm farm also gets most of ours as well. So that's another handy little way to look after green waste.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, because back on the landfill costs going through the roof, I've seen some interesting stats recently that here in Australia, if you're in the hospo industry and you don't have green waste or organic pickups, well, sorry, if you do implement them, businesses are saving 60% on their landfill costs, which is just massive to think.
Exactly right. Like food waste in particular is a very heavy waste. So, generally you get your bins are taken and they're weighed. So, there's significant savings to be made there. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
I think also just before the one I forgot there, which is sort of giving you guys a plug at Greener, is the greener power with Origin. Like when I switched over to them, we're saving thousands of dollars a year in a market where energy prices are increasing.
Yeah, look, it's an interesting one. Green power, a lot of people don't know what it is because typically it costs more. But we've been really fortunate to partner with Origin and others to then really provide green power at the cost of dirty, if not cheaper. And we can talk a little bit more about that towards the back end because it is probably, well, I'm confident it is the single most impactful thing you can do that's super easy, takes less than 5 minutes, and you only have to do it once per venue, which is really cool. And to see you guys reap the rewards of renewable energy as well as savings, but without having to put solar on your roof, just makes total sense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's been a big win for us too. I think that deal almost halved our power bills, I think. And yeah, and it's green power, so win.
Absolutely. Guys, what's been one of the more difficult things? Like we've spoken about the easier things, we've spoken about the things that you didn't expect to save money. But what's been one of the more difficult things that you faced to try and drive these changes, and how did you overcome it?
I'll jump in. Organic green waste. So we're just implementing that now. We're Stitches, we're the basement of a 15 level business. So we all have shared waste facilities. We don't have separate accounts. So for the past, I think it was 6 months, I've been trying to convince the building management to change over to have an organic bin waste facility, which is happening on 1 August.
And so, mate, that's great that you twisted their arm to make it happen. How did you get them across the line, and what was holding them back? Like, if there are other people listening in that are facing the same problem, how do you make it easy, or how did you make it? How did you overcome it?
Well, I just shared with him some of the case studies with what people were reducing in terms of their red bin waste and looked at the cost savings benefit by stripping it out, by separating those waste streams. And, building managers are running a building, so they're looking to for all their cost-effective savings. And that was a way to get back some floor space, reduce the amount of waste, not deliveries, waste pickups, while also saving money.
Yeah, awesome. What about you, Julian? Anything that's been overly challenging to get across the line? And if so, how did you get across it?
Yeah, it's more just for our area and businesses, trying to like the Origin Energy story, and, it only takes a few minutes, and same with the waste providers, in our area. I guess just with other businesses, we're trying to sort of lead that, and everything's just difficult for people, until they kind of actually just chip away, keep asking them each week, you're going to do it, you're going to do it. And they end up doing it. It's like Nick said, shit, why wasn't I doing this, so long before? It's just that kind of constant go. And I can understand, hospo is very hard at the minute, and, everyone's sort of back in their businesses, and, any external kind of projects is hard. But yeah, it's just sort of chipping away, and like Karl said, just having some facts and some data, this, and with, Greener and the app, and showing them these easy things that can be done, that can save money, save time, that is better for the future.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? As soon as you see someone like you that has a business like you that has done something that you always thought was too hard or didn't believe you could save, but once you see that they have, it makes the whole piece so much easier.
Yeah.
Nick, anything from you? You facing any challenges to get across, or have you overcome any?
I mean, yeah, similarly to Julian, like trying to tackle this issue as precinct wide is tricky. The tough times, a lot of business owners are, having to spend hours back in their business. And so setting aside a bit of time to do these kinds of things, it's not always the top priority. Similarly as well in YCK, it's a lot of these venues are in pokey little like basement bars and, weird spaces that don't make for, efficient waste management. So there's a lot of common issues across venues that, along those lines. And so that's why I said, we're looking now to try and ways we can try and collectivize that, and, just show people a better way of doing something. But yeah, again, that's, as Julian said, leading by example is the best way, being able to go to them and say, look, I've been saving all this money. You really should do this. It's kind of hard to argue with that.
And Nick, as president of YCK, how did you come up with this concept of this, I guess, the Laneways Association that you've got? How did you wrangle Karl and the others together and bring everyone together? Because I imagine it's something that others in similar little precincts that have a lot of other hospo venues around them would love to know more about.
Yeah, well, in an initial sense, it involved hitting the pavement and going around and knocking on everyone's door, and called a bit of a meeting, got everyone in the room, and almost straight away, I think it might have even been Karl suggested, an organization like this needs, clear leadership, and Karl and I kind of quickly figured out that we were the ones to do the job, and, we've got very complementary skill sets. So, it's kind of just gone from there, but yeah.
Who brings the lion's share of the skills, mate?
Oh, well, as I said, we've each got different skills. So, Karl's the people person. He knows everyone, and he can make anything happen. Can't write a sentence to save his life, so that's where I come in. And all my engineering skills, writing no-nonsense engineering documents have really come in handy for writing grant applications. Obviously, the project management skills I learned as well in executing these grants. So it all comes around.
Yeah, awesome. And so what's next for the precinct? Tell us a little bit more.
Yes, well, we're currently towards the tail end of a grant from an innovation and ideas grant from the City of Sydney, which is all around sustainability. And we're looking to partner up with you guys to basically try and create a framework that hospitality businesses can follow with really easy, simple steps to make themselves, not only more sustainable, but, more financially sustainable. We also were just recipients of the Community Improvement District Pilot Program grant, which is a state government initiative looking to, they're running a series of pilots to help influence some legislation that they want to bring in. And so we're doing a little project that's all based around safety, particularly for women and gender diverse people. And we're going to be revitalizing one of the less welcoming laneways in YCK Laneways with a really nice art installation, like a lighting installation that's going to react as you move down it, and it's going to be quite a spectacle. Turn a really dingy alleyway into a focal point for the precinct. So.
Well, mate, it's so cool. Even Silly, your venue, a lot of people don't recognize it's there. It's sort of hidden away, but once you walk in and you see everything open up, it's a great spot. So it's so exciting to see all the stuff that you guys are doing, because it's bringing a lot of life into the city at a time that it really needs it. But everyone really enjoys it. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
So look, we're getting close to the sort of last question. So I'm just going to put it out to the audience. If you do want to add a question for one of the team, please just put it in the chat. I can see, actually, there might be a few that are coming in while I'm chatting. So, okay, no, it's one that I answered. I'm multitasking like crazy here. That's why I'm a bit all over the place. But if there are any final questions, please start to put them in and we'll get them asked as we go. But for you guys, obviously, like we've said, and the whole purpose of today's session is to try and demystify and debunk just how, make it obvious that sustainability can be a lot easier and opportunities to save money more so than people recognize. What would your number one tip be, each of you? And we'll go around the group. Just to get started, what's the simple thing, the low-hanging fruit?
Get on the Greener app, eh?
I love that recommendation, Julian.
Yeah.
Thank you. But what else?
I mean, for us, because we are primarily food, compost, green waste, we saved a lot of money. And, what's worse, any organic matter into landfill is letting off more methane and gases than it does in commercial composting. I really feel that is, for us, the lowest hanging fruit that you can save straight away. And yeah.
And a lot of people don't recognize, we all talk a lot about carbon dioxide, key contributor to climate change, being one of the sort of obvious greenhouse gases. But as you touched on, methane, which people don't necessarily think of straight away, it's actually 28 times more potent than carbon dioxide as a greenhouse gas. Yeah. And people don't recognize that all of that sort of organic matter that you put into landfill, as it goes out there, it just rots, emits methane, and it is terrible for the planet. So like we said, not only is it a lot cheaper to put it in a green bin, it's a lot better for the planet too. So mate, thanks for that. Karl, what's your single simple tip? I think I know what it is. But,
yeah, return and earn. Get onto it. It is. So you just sign a bit of paper, and that's it, and change a bin, and you can save a ton.
How long did it take you to get that into practice from signing up to paper?
About a week to swap over, and then it just becomes habit. The only thing is protecting our bins now from people trying to come and steal our cans. That's the only thing we need to watch out for.
Hey, your bins would be a mini gold mine.
Yeah, they're good.
Absolutely. And have a house of pocket if you're a little quiet, if your pockets are a little empty this weekend.
Yeah.
And Nick, how about yourself?
Yeah, I think, waste management is definitely the first place to look. There's so many ways you can save in so many different areas you can be saving money. But then, yeah, obviously it's simple things like, the Origin Greener offer, that was a no-brainer. And that was so simple and easy to do. It'd be good to see that get carried on. But yeah, and obviously, little things like, changing LED light bulbs. I mean, I think everyone's kind of done all that by now, but you'd be surprised.
Mate, you really would be surprised. And I just saw a note in the chat from Ali around this. And I guess there might be a number of retailers on the call that are also listening in that aren't as hospo bent. Just to touch on a few of the low-hanging fruit there, green power, as the team have spoken about, it really is the single most impactful thing you can do to curb your emissions. And again, only need to do it once, takes less than 5 minutes. That's if you do have control over your energy supplier. And many in retail may not. If you're on a distributed network or within the likes of a Westfield or something. But as Nick just mentioned, if you've got the ability to change out your light bulbs, a lot of people think LEDs are more expensive because the bulb themselves are a little bit more at a premium. But what they don't recognize is not only are they so much cheaper to run, I think they last about 20 times longer than your traditional bulb. So yes, we all want to save money, but we also want just a bit more convenience. So next time you're ducking out and you need a new light bulb, you can get these from Bunnings. You don't need to go and get a full retrofit of your store. But the great thing is if you are in New South Wales government does have a really impressive rebate scheme for professional retrofit of lighting. And if you I guess the best offer you can get is for about $33. You can get all of your lights swapped out due to government grants. Check out the platform that we'll share a little bit about in a moment, and you can get more details there. The other one about retail, though, is shipping. Shipping is a really, I guess, carbon intensive process, especially if you're doing free returns. But there's a number of shipping providers out there who are doing carbon neutral shipping, which means all of the emissions are carbon offset using high integrity offsets, effectively drawing down the carbon from the atmosphere, equivalent to what would have been created by the shipping. And through some of the great partners that we've got, the likes of Sendle, we're seeing brands and retailers save more than 20% on their shipping, and it's carbon neutral. Again, saving money and emissions at the same time. One that came in just then from Yanni, maybe it's a quick one back to you, Julian, just about reusables. We understand that you guys are really focusing on that right now. Can you share a little bit?
We from this waste that we found, our mayonnaise buckets, pickle buckets, all this number 5 plastic that was going into the commingle bin. Nothing over 20 centimeters actually gets commercially recycled. So there's this glutton of waste that comes from these commercial large format products. So we are looking to flake down that plastic and actually make our own containers. That's our end goal. And then our reusable system is, my dad was a milkman. You know, he took the milk bottles up to your porch. If you had one left out or two, he'd give you how many ever you had. Took them back, washed them, refilled them. This is nothing new. It's just how we do it in our kind of climate and our technology these days. Everyone wants things on demand. So we're actually doing a trial this month for Plastic Free July. We do food to Hotel Hollywood, Tio's and Rambling Rascals, and we're giving the consumers, the customers, a choice to choose reusables or choose single use, and see the uptake on market of, you know, what people think. There's been a few real weird things out there of, I don't want to eat from reusables for takeaway, but it's like you go to venues and you're eating off cutlery, plates and glasses, you know. We're looking to corporate catering, things like that, you know, big Salesforce buildings, TikToks, like the amount of catering that happens a day, you know, to all these big corporates, it's a huge waste. And people are using compostable packaging that's not compostable anymore, which is going to landfill, which is letting off more methane. So we really want to disrupt the linear packaging industry and, you know, just kind of go back to old world tales, reusables.
Mate,
so we're getting...
Sorry, what was that?
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Well, with some of those big corporate clients who are doing a lot of, I guess, catering, are you then seeing interest from them when they see it for the first time? It's like, what's this? Can you talk a little bit about that? And is that interest then converting to future loyalty?
Yeah, well, I guess, you know, a lot of these big companies have to start reporting all their carbon emissions, you know, was it from this year, next year? And the people that look after the catering, they know the glutton of waste. And I think, as Nick said, someone said earlier, like a lot of younger people now, they are actually really conscious and looking at those type of things. They want to, disrupt it, and they want to just have, say, reusables or things. It's a very big logistic nightmare, you know, trying to work it out, drop in and all that logistics. We're looking at, like, you know, our washing and chemicals. It's not just doing it, you know, giving it a container and taking it back. But for anything to have the actual, we need at least 50 or 100 washes, and how it goes through, how many get lost, is that going to be worse, to the planet, etc. So yeah, people are crying out for it. It's just working out the logistics of it and how it really works in a commercial environment.
Yeah, awesome. Guys, the questions are now coming in thick and fast, so I'm going to throw them out to the group. Before I put this question out there, I just want a quick shout out to Maxine. Maxine Bentley, she shared that over the last 5 years, they actually offer to take shopping bags from their customers to give them a new lease on life. Not only are customers bringing them back by the sounds of things, which is a great sustainability practice, it's win-win because they're saving money on bags. And it's crazy to think about that single use, I guess, mindset that we all used to have. It actually drives cost. You touched on it before, Karl, with the coasters. And Maxine, shout out to you. Great work. Keep it up. Quick one from Joshua around those that use Uber Eats. So I don't know if any of the team here can answer, or if not, please, if you're on the chat, feel free to throw in your thoughts. But Uber Eats, a lot of deliveries, a lot of carbon heavy deliveries at that. Are there any schemes that where Uber Eats are using an electric vehicle? I know with Uber, there's Uber Green these days. Has anyone seen anything like this with delivery?
I haven't yet. We are talking to them about this reusable, because they have a driver going to, or a rider driver going to someone's house, and like, how do they kind of make use of that return trip? They were one of our first supporters with Square on this kind of journey years ago. So they are very looking at it. I'm not sure about the green power or those type of things, but they are very conscious about the packaging.
Yeah, I've seen a big push from Uber recently. I think they partnered with Planet Ark around reducing packaging, single use, and so on, which is really good. And just the opt-in for cutlery has seen a massive drop in wastage, which is just a simple trick from their interface, which has had a huge impact and is really good to hear. One that I did speak to last year, but I haven't seen it come through to fruition, was DoorDash. I know they were trialing drone delivery, which is electric, therefore less emissions. They were trialing that in different corners of Brisbane. I don't know exactly how that went, but it's a really interesting one. Question from an anonymous attendee. Is finding a sustainable food supplier easy, and how do you work with them? Not easy.
You want me to answer that?
Anyone.
Yeah, I mean, local farms, there's still a lot around, Sydney, going to the markets and look, a lot of providers, providors that sell to you like are just getting Aussie or local stuff, because it does cost a lot more to freight up. It's like, don't use things out of season, like don't use corn in winter or things like that. It's, just those kind of principles of utilizing in-season vegetables and things that are going to be more sustainable. But there is a lot of local farms, honey people, vinegars, oils that are around. It's pretty simple. It's just kind of asking and talking and looking where things are made. I think we're working on that with Greener, right? Having a bit of a supplier and stuff, soon, hopefully have some of those type of things on there.
Yeah, one of the things that we've seen, obviously, the Greener platform is only new to market, and it's something that we're really excited about with partnering with Tyro about. One of the things that we have seen is version 1 has delivered a lot of those sort of one-off actions that businesses can do, and once they've done, it is more set and forget, like your energy, like your waste, like your return and earn. But as mentioned here, there are certain things that you buy regularly, whether it be your fresh, your meats, or other things, that people don't necessarily have an easy way to identify the sustainable offerings. And just going into beta right now is a solution that we're currently, and it's a code name, it's going to change, but we're calling it Savings Finder. And ultimately, it allows organizations to opt in to connect their zero data from their zero accounting package. We can then give them their own carbon emission report on a regular basis, just as regular as their expenses come in. But what's super exciting is that we're building out an ecosystem of partners. And that might be partners for fresh food, for meats, and for other things that are more regular expenses. And those partners commit to carbon neutralizing the spend. So everything you buy from a greener partner, if you're a greener member, is 100% carbon neutral. And I think that's one of the things that we're really excited about spearheading with you guys at YCK and HQ, because it's one of those things that can just make it a whole lot easier to take action without really having to think about it. So we're about to wrap. Any final things, and before I share how all of Tyro's customers can access Greener and Greener for Business platform for free when it's typically comes at a price tag? Any final wisdom from the three of you?
I think my one is that it's okay to mess up. You know, like I know that I put organic sometimes in the red bin. You know, like it happens, but it's just trying to be a bit better each and every day. You know, don't get down when people don't follow suit, you know, and get it straight away, but you just kind of keep chipping away. It is a change of training and learning, and you have to reteach everyone to separate your bins or how you do things. So, you know, don't get down, because it's a very big, crazy world out there, and there's lots of things going on, and it's like, you know, just take the good with the bad and don't get too caught up and just push on the next day.
Yeah, and for me, it'd be get your team involved. So I've given the team our annual sales data for our suppliers and fruit and veg guys, and they're having a look at what we're purchasing and what we could be doing differently. So we're trying to get rid of all of our chemicals, and we're using our leftover lime peels and infusing them with vinegar, and hopefully that will replace all of our cleaning products within the business. So mine would be get them involved early and go on the journey together.
Yeah, that's really cool. How about you, Nick?
Yeah, no, they both said it pretty well. Yeah, as Julian said, like, just it's funny how quickly things become second nature. You know, it seems weird at first making these changes, but it pretty quickly starts to make, yes, just so much more sense. Yeah, so just get out there and do it. Yeah,
terrific. Now, look, the great news is, as we said at the top of the call, this doesn't need to be overwhelming anymore. As Julian said, don't worry if you make mistakes. One of our guiding principles at Greener is to not let the perfect be the enemy of the good. It's all about getting started. And thanks to Tyro, all Tyro customers get exclusive access to Greener for free. Now, it usually costs businesses $228 per annum to use the platform. But if you go to www.greener.com.au/Tyro, you guys will get exclusive access to the platform. And one thing that I'll share is that post you signing up, you're going to receive or post today's webinar, I should say, you're going to receive an invite with this code and with this URL. But for those that do sign up, you'll also get an opportunity to stay at one of the country's luxury boutique hospitality venues that is getting greener. And I'm going to play a quick video now, which is a 60-second clip on what this business has achieved in a really simple way to get greener, save the planet, and save money at the same time. So here's a quick snapshot before I hand back to Dee.
Hi there, I'm Max Mason, General Manager of Osborne House here in the Southern Highlands. I'm delighted that I can celebrate that Tyro are partnering with Greener. Greener is actually helping Osborne House fast-track our vision of being the most sustainable luxury boutique accommodation in the country. We're looking to install solar, we have 4 EV chargers coming in, and we've just transitioned our gas carbon neutral. Our electricity, renewable with green power, something that I never heard of before. It's been super easy saving us more than $50,000 per annum. Cash flow positive in year, something that absolutely amazed me, and it's taken more than 170 cars off the road. If other businesses want to save money and the planet with ease, they should get in touch with Greener.
So as I mentioned, free access for Tyro customers. And for those that do sign up, you get to go into the draw to win a stay at Osborne House and really experience what luxury sustainable hospitality can feel like. I just saw one last question come in. So before I hand back to you, Dee, the question was, how big an impact can all of this have? How much of my carbon footprint can I remove? So in short, it's about getting started, as I mentioned. The simple thing like green power, super impactful. It's actually helping many businesses save about 15% of their carbon footprint in less than 5 minutes. Awesome. But if you want to then go whole hog, businesses that go all the way can save up to 70 to 80% of their carbon footprint today with things like electrifying your kitchen. Instead of using gas, if you use electricity and power those appliances with renewable, it has a massive impact on your footprint. And similar with your vehicles, if you get off petrol vehicles and move to EV fleets and power them with renewable, and again, a lot of the time, if you got solar, renewables, it's the sun, it's free. Not only can you save a huge amount of your footprint, but you can also save a huge amount of money. So that's it for me. Thank you so much to everyone from YCK and HQ, and Dee, thanks to you guys. We're so excited about this partnership. You're just on mute, Dee.
Of course I am. You're on mute. Thank you, Tom. What an amazing webinar. So insightful. Really enjoyed the content, really enjoyed the insights from the team. A massive thank you to Nick White from Since I Left You, for Karl. I'm not going to try to pronounce your last name, Karl, sorry. From House of Pocket, I hope that's okay. And Julian from Better from Surry Hills. Really fantastic insights, as I said, and some great examples. I loved hearing your ideas. Like, you know, we heard from everything around alternatives to traditional materials, and we heard about the bamboo coasters. I think that's really fantastic. I completely agree. Those cardboard ones, you know, you use it once, go all soggy, no good. So really fantastic initiative there. Love the fact that, you know, 50% saving on the electrical bills just from signing up to Greener. Really fantastic. That's just, I think somebody said it's a no-brainer. Absolutely. Really like the idea of the green waste facility as well. I thought that was really fantastic. And the reuse of plastic containers. We all have this. I know that I think about this just, you know, in terms of my own household. You know, you go to the supermarket, you're buying these things and they're coming in these, you know, these heavy plastic containers, or you're getting Uber Eats or whatever the case might be, and then you're just chucking them out. You know, what can we be doing differently? So really some great ideas. I know we talked about the fact that today we had some good hospitality examples, but some really fantastic ideas that I think is reusable across industries. We talked about, you know, just the simple fact of changing your light bulbs to LED light bulbs and the impact that that can have. We talked about, you know, your shipping, if you're in retail, choosing shipping providers that are focusing on carbon neutral impacts as well. And then some great ideas there at the end from the team. You know, get your team involved. Love that idea about, you know, reusing the waste products to turn into organic cleaning products by adding some vinegar. Just simple stuff, and just get going. And of course, you heard from Tom there at the end. Obviously, at Tyro, we're super proud to be partnering with Greener and also delivering value to our customers by giving you this exclusive access to the Greener platform for free. You can sign up, and I think, Tom, you said just by signing up 5 minutes, you can save 15% impact on your carbon footprint. And then there's lots of ideas for you to implement that will have an even bigger impact than that. So, you know, it sort of seems like a no-brainer to me. So thank you for joining us. I'd encourage you, as I said, if you're not already a member, please sign up. And if you're a Tyro customer, as you heard from Tom, follow the links from our Tyro customer portal, and you'll have free access to Greener. I know our customer service team are also there to help if you've got any questions. The team from Greener, as Tom said, will email everybody at the conclusion of this session with the special Green Power offer from Origin, and a reminder that you'll go into the draw to win a stay at Osborne House. Another great industry that we heard from just at the end there in the accommodation industry, and what they've done with the Greener platform to help both save money but also impact on the environment. So Osborne House in the Southern Highlands sounds amazing to me.
Dee, you would love it there.
I
bet.
it's on my list. It's absolutely on my list. It looked amazing. So yeah, absolutely. I'm going to get there for sure. But guys, look, thank you again. Thanks everybody for joining us. Thank you to the team today who put this together. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us at Tyro or the team at Greener, and have a lovely Monday evening. I don't know what it's like in Sydney today, but it's pretty miserable in Melbourne. So a nice day to stay at home and put the electrical heating on and not the gas heating on.
You know it. Great work.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. See you.